All right, TSM Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, to sell or not to sell? I've been getting this curiosity question here from a number of people, but you know that this is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purpose only. However, that being said, let's take a look and see what we can have some fun with and make some guesses as to where we think this is going to be based off of our technical analysis. So let's go off of that. On the daily trade on this particular one, first of all, we're getting some signals that for us saying potentially in to go for long, but I'm not convinced yet. No indicator in and of itself by itself is a good way to trade, in my opinion, my experience. I want to be able to have other things that show support resistance. I'll be able to use other resources, but it is a good general idea to have something that reminds you. It's like, for example, here we got in here, we wouldn't get out till there. We get in here, we don't get out till there. And then, but in the sideways trends, that's when indicators tend to have a little bit more trouble. Because you don't know how long they're going to be on that sideways trend, and they're going to be up and down for a while. So that being said, we found there's some support here, and it seems like it has found some support right around the 107.92 on the daily, and on the higher end, it seems to be having a little trouble getting past this range right here of 126. So we're definitely ranging, and we're around the middle of the range on this particular daily chart. But let's look at it on a much bigger picture, because we want to be able to get rid of a lot of this noise and get a better sense of where we are. Now, obviously, it's taken a huge bullish move, and look at that! Wow, on the daily, on the monthly. Had we had a notification and we'd taken that notification, right now we'd still be in at about 1,000%. Wow. So all these little losses right here would have been more than made up. But of course, we had to hold it since August of November of 9, which is a long time to hold. And it works, but it's a long time to hold. I like getting mine a little sooner. So that being said, we know that we have some highs where it had over at 142, it got rejected. That was the highest that it had been. Could we have predicted that off of previous amounts? Let's find out. Let's go one more time here from the lowest point that we could find to the highest. And was this a super cycle? It sure was. That was a super cycle. It came right into the zone that we usually talk about. We usually talk about hitting somewhere in this zone right there and surpassed it even more, even then. So that is a pretty darn good super cycle that it ran on, and at some point it needs to take a break. Now here's the thing about any kind of news type of trading. By the time news hits, a lot of people are, the retail buyer says, well, it might be a good time to get in, whereas the institutional buyer says, you know what, I think it's time for me to sell, take my profits, and wait for the next cycle. So it is very possible that we could be seeing some profit taken here for a little while, and then potentially even start to look at a little bit of lower level. So let's take a look at how far we've gone so far. So right now we have retraced. We've got to flip this around. In case you're not familiar with this tool, this is TradingView, and it is a wonderful tool to use if you are doing technical analysis. It is strongly recommended anybody who's doing any kind of trading to be able to make sure you do your homework and do your learn how to trade, because otherwise it's really difficult to be able to make profits. News is not just going off of news. Generally, unless they have a really good strategy, is generally not a huge fan of that. So let's see another tool that shared by TradingView here. We're going to do a fixed range and see from this low way down here to this high where, well, there's a lot of prices. That's a big price jump. So it took, obviously, once it broke through here, it went up way up into this region. And let's see, could it bounce back to where there was activity? We already see that it could. There already did right in this region right here. And we know that because there's little bumps in this area, but that's not a whole lot comparatively. This is more indicative right in here, which would make more sense. We're close to the 50% pullback, and I'm getting a feeling that we could see a pretty decent pullback. We're pretty toppy in other indicators, and we're saying, people are starting to take profit. Does that mean that there can't be jumps? No, we can still be some jumps. I believe that we can easily still probably get an 8 to 13% gain. However, is that worth the time that you might have to wait for it? The downside on the hopeful side would be that it would find some support right around these candles right in here. So I would say about a 60% drop, and then potentially seeing if it held there. But I'm not overly confident of that. I think here's where we start seeing the slowdown, and right into this region is where we start seeing potential bounce. So do I want to take a 39% right down? Not really. Is it a bust? I do not think so. However, right now there's been a lot of news about semiconductors and deals that have been going on and so forth. So therefore, it's not a big surprise that jump. However, take a look at this though. The news that we've been seeing have been just recent, as of the last couple of months, maybe at max. And look at when the jump happened. It happened well before that. Well before that. So somebody knew something beforehand, before any of this was happening, and they were buying in this region right here. Whenever you see these areas like this, then you're seeing this called consolidation, and this is usually where the big institutions are waiting to see how much they're filling in their bags so they can sell them much higher. So I am not at all bullish at this at the moment at all. It already had a huge jump. I would be personally waiting until it came down to this, at least this number. We do see that there is some support down in the 618 down in here. However, it's not very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if it got halfway through down here to about the level of, I would say roughly probably around there, around 42.87. Could it hit the 30s? Yeah, it could if it came down this far. But being that it had such a strong push, any of these zones right here between 72, 56, or 32 can potentially give us an opportunity for an entry, unless I'm going short. If I'm going short, then that's a whole different plan, because now, those of you who know how to short, I would be looking at going, okay, can it break a new high? If it cannot break a new high, then am I willing to take that right down? But it's not done. It's not, in my opinion, it's not done getting out of this zone. Now, if it stays within this zone, right, between the 126 and 107, I would be looking for something that would look very similar to this pattern right here. You see the big initial jump. There's gonna be maybe another push up. Could be a fake out to the top side. And if this is the middle of the range, then we're looking at this entire range between 107 and 142. Is that a tradable range? If you like profits if you like to play within a range of 32%, 30%, and that's a good window for you, then that would be reasonable. But I would be waiting till I knew that I found some support. At least right here, this is the 23.6 on the fibs. And it's already shown that it stopped there once. But if the candles start closing below that, then I would just personally say, you know what, nope, I think we're going down to the next level, which will be right at that 88. Okay, so is this a bust? No, I don't think it's a bust. Is it a time for me to get in? I don't feel comfortable in that. And is it time to sell? I cannot tell you what to do because I'm not a financial advisor, right? However, the technical analysis isn't showing a whole lot of strength to the upside right now. So could it do a jump? Yep, but we showed how it wasn't going to be that huge of a jump comparatively. Now let's say that it somehow miraculously decided to say, you know what, we have enough, we've collected enough, and you see the pattern that you see here, and it breaks new highs, and if I'm shooting for the moon, what might be that next level? Now let's take a look on that side of it. And this is months, right? So it could be years before it gets to this point. However, if it did, it would be right in that 140, 199 to 228-ish range. I don't know that it would be ready to do another huge super cycle, especially right after it finished one right now. So that would be roughly what I would be looking to see if it's target, but this would be a long time. Now that's not very attractive to me, so I'm not going to really say that that's something I would want to do. However, if somebody is looking at this saying, you can make your opinion about the technical analysis, see if you agree with, disagree with it. Maybe you know something we don't know, and you can always drop that into the comments, as well as click like, subscribe, and hit that notification so that you get notified whenever we put an update to this and others that we do as well. All right, hope you enjoyed this. Have an awesome time, and may you be very profitable.